Westbury, this is for you. My name is Daniel Broadbent. Today I will be talking about the most debated topic in modern U.S. history. So my goal today is 1, to educate, 2, to inspire you and motivate you, but also just to put you into action, right? Because you know what they say? They say, knowledge, or to know and not do, is to not know at all, right? So my goal is just to put you into action. So here we go. Most debated topic in modern U.S. history, right? So sounds silly, but which television show is better? We have The Office, or we have Parks and Rec, okay? My personal claim is The Office is the best television show, comedy around, sitcom. It is hilarious. I think it is way better than Parks and Rec. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to knock Parks and Rec. I love Parks and Rec. It makes me laugh. It's funny. Office is just better. It's just better. So, let me tell you why today. So, just speaking like statistically, so according to IMDb, which is a very popular online rating website to where you rate different, not websites, but you rate different, movies and TV shows, books, things like that. Now, the ratings for Parks and Rec have an 8.6 out of 10, okay? So 8.6 out of 10 with 165 plus thousand, people to vote. The Office, however, has an 8.8 out of 10, okay, with 271,000. So just from there alone, you have a 0.2 difference, okay? So 0.2 doesn't seem like a lot. It goes a long way in movies, okay, and TV shows. But because it is higher and it also has more votes, therefore the voting is more accurate. Obviously, if you have a bigger sample size, you'll get a more precise, accurate reading. Because of that, statistically speaking, The Office is more popular. Another reason why it's more popular is just because The Office has 201 episodes over 9 seasons. Okay? Parks and Rec, it has 125 over 7 seasons. Now, how do you tell if a show is good, right? If it's been on a long time, right? If it's been on a long time, right, that's a good indicator that people want to keep watching it, right? They just want to always consistently, give me more, give me more, give me more, right? That's why some shows, they only get 1 season, and some shows get, 9 seasons, 13 seasons, because it's more popular, right? So Parks and Rec, still respectable, but significantly less. They have 125 episodes over 7 seasons, okay? Now, my first claim here, why The Office is better, opinionatedly, that's a word, is The Office has just a much better cast. They did such a good job. The writers are incredible. You have characters like Creed, okay? Creed, absolute nutcase. What is he doing? You know what I mean? If it ain't about scuba, then what is this whole thing about? Is one of his lines, right? He is just so funny. Every time he only says funny stuff, basically. Kevin, same thing. Andy, hilarious, right? Jim, Pam, Dwight, Michael. I mean, with that lineup, and Daryl, with that lineup, it is just, everything meshes so well together. It's like the perfect comedy team, okay? And then Parks and Rec. Now, Parks and Rec does have Ron Swanson, which is really, really powerful in their favor. He is really funny, awesome character, loved by everyone. Andy, also hilarious. But when you look at their surrounding cast, April's pretty good too. The surrounding cast, it just doesn't mesh as well together. So, that's one of the biggest things that I want to point out. Now, obviously, the comedic value that The Office brings to the table in comparison to Parks and Rec, The Office is just quoted a lot more by people, and it's also, there's a lot more pictures online and memes and stuff like that. One of my favorite ones, which I put up on the screen for you, is when Michael says, and this is so relatable, sometimes I'll start a sentence and don't know where it's going. I just hope to find it along the way. You know, that's just so funny, but it's so relatable because you know how often do you like go to talk someone or you know present something and you're just kind of like shooting from the hip. You know, happens all the time. That's why this show is so funny because he's obviously going into this huge meeting and he's like, I don't even know what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say something. Okay. Another thing, and the reason why I'd say the biggest reason why the actual like words are funnier, like the writers are better, is because they're not afraid to get edgy. Okay, they're not afraid to push boundaries or come right up close to some. You know, I have an example up here. I'm not going to say it because it's a little distasteful. Is it funny? It is funny in the context in the show, hilarious. But if anyone were to say it today, you know, it would be, you know, you'd be excommunicated, right? But for some reason, that's what people like because it's very relatable. So how often do you say something that's dumb? You know, pretty often, okay? You're with your buzz, you're hanging out, you say dumb stuff, you're at work, something slips out. You know, are there repercussions? Definitely, right? But in this show, it's like you have no idea what's going to be said, right? That's what makes it so great. And, you know, one thing that Michael always, that not always says, but he said in the show is, you know, there's no such thing as an appropriate joke, right? That's why it's a joke, right? Because it's inappropriate, right? Are there appropriate jokes? I argue there is, but it's just so funny, you know? It just makes so much sense, right? A joke is a joke. And the biggest thing is that when you watch The Office, you don't get offended. You laugh because you know that it's, one, intentional, and two, like, that's just their character, right? And, you know, one of the biggest reasons actually today that, you know, Steve Carell said he wouldn't do a reboot is because, you know, the world is so PC. It's so, you know, if he were to say some of the stuff that he said before or things like it, people would boycott his show, right? Not me. I'm a big fan. I'll keep watching it. I don't care. It's some funny stuff, right? Dumb stuff every now and then, yeah. But hey, it makes laughs. It gets ratings up, clearly. And that's just something that we don't see anymore. I feel like The Office is one of those shows that is like so popular. And it's like one of those last shows that's like super popular and gets away with that kind of stuff, right? So, you know, another thing is the emotional appeal. Now, obviously, it's very important to connect with your audience emotionally. That's what gets people really engaged. That's why dramas, you know, 13 Reasons Why, even Stranger Things, stuff like that, that's why they're very popular, right? The Office has very strong emotional appeal to people. You know, with Jim and Pam in the first 4 seasons, they're kind of going back and forth with each other. You know, they both love each other, they both really like each other, right? But they're never really making it work, right? Their schedules, they're always dating someone, you know, at the time. So it's like, it never really lines up. Now, spoiler alert, they do end up together. But it's just so realistic. Just the emotional, it's like, you just feel for Jim. You're like, man, you know, it reminds me of the time, you know, I really like this girl, but she's dating someone, right? And I know she definitely likes me back. And it's just like relatable. And even when they get married, you know, it shows, you know, some of the hard times they go through in their marriage, right? He wants to move off and, or not move away, but like he wants to go to Philly so he can start his dream business. And she wants to stay here because she has a family. And then she wants to go to art school and he wants to, you know, support her and stuff like that. But, you know, it just shows it's so realistic and you really get bought into it. And, you know, another example up there, it's like, is Michael going to find love? You know, he does. It's Toby the Strange Strangler. You know, that's another thing that the show has. There's so many, like, little things where it's like, conspiracy theories. Like, oh, is Toby the Strange Strangler? Did Jim cheat on Pam? Did this, that? It's like so many things that it's like so intricate. People are so like involved with this show that they're just looking at the littlest details and going crazy. And I mean, maybe I'm missing it, but personally, I haven't seen it from Parks and Rec. You know, another thing about the emotional appeal is at some point during season 9, which is the last season, you realize that it's almost over. And it's tough. It really is tough because you're like, oh man, this show is so awesome. I love it, you know. And then you see like season 9, episode 20 or episode 19, and you're like, dang, there's only this many episodes left, right? I know people personally that have stopped watching. Like they don't watch it a lot. They like kind of watch it here and there because they're at the very last season. They don't want it to end because they have no idea what they're gonna do as soon as the finale comes up, right? And just the finale alone, just the way they bring everyone back together. You haven't seen Michael in like several seasons. He comes back, makes an appearance at Dwight's wedding. Who would have known, right? And it's a tearjerker. Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna cry. My eyes have sweated before. Anyway, it's just such an emotional like appeal to it. And one thing I want to inspire into you guys today, and one of the reasons why I actually love the idea of me going last and out of the whole class was because I like to motivate people. That's one thing that I've kind of learned about myself that I'm starting to get a lot better at, is I'm really good at motivating people, inspiring people, keeping people accountable. And one thing that Andy says in the very last episode when they're all hanging out at the very end is, I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them. Wish there was a way to know that you're in the good old days before you actually left them. Here's what I want to tell you today. You are in the good old days, right? You want to take advantage of the next couple years of your life and just focus in on growing yourself, having a lot of fun, and setting yourself up to where 20 years from now you'll be talking about hey, back when I was in Miss Barry's class, here's what we learned, and here's what we did, and while I was in college I did this. These are the good old days, right? And I'm here to tell you today, these are the good old days, right? You don't have to worry about regretting it because I'm here telling you today, okay? So the people you hang around with now are the people you're going to be telling your kids in 20 years like stories about. So what I want to do, and just to finish this off, is just to tell you guys, like, go out and just live your dreams, right? Don't do dumb stuff, but go out and have fun, right? Learn a lot. Learn a lot about yourself too. That's what college is all about. You're off on your own to learn about yourself so you can grow, learn, prepare yourself for your future. And just go out this semester break, right? This winter break, this next spring coming up, right? Go out. 1, watch The Office, but 2, see how high you can fly, right? Because you're an eagle.